A local Valentine's concert is an unlikely marriage of two passionate art forms, opera and classical sitar. Here to tell us about the sound of love is soprano and opera singer Mariette Aida Ansueto. Thanks for being here, Mariette.
Thank you for having us. I'm so excited to be here.
We are also joined by Arvid Smith, longtime local musician and sitar master. Good morning, Arvid.
Good morning.
So, Mariette, you are a classically trained opera singer. This event that we're talking about has been described as a mini opera,
Mhm.
something that is bringing opera out of concert halls and into a somewhat more accessible space.
Yes.
Can you tell us about, first of all, how you guys came up with this idea? It is, as we said, sort of an unlikely pairing.
It is. So I'm classically trained for over 20 years, private study. And then from there, I just felt this calling in 2020 to start moving it towards sound therapy. I found that just how opera is so emotional, it evokes so much emotion within the listener that it can be geared into the wellness route. So with meditation and helping the nervous system relax, it's just been an incredible way to take it from the stage over to yoga studios and very relaxing spaces. And so Arvid has actually played in a few yoga studios, and I went to one of his performances and I just fell in love with just how almost haunting the sitar sounds. And it just popped into my head. And I went up to Arvid. I was like, listen, I do opera, you do sitar. Let's do a jam session. Let's see what it sounds like. And it was just incredible. I, as an artist, felt like it was a conversation that we were having and it was alive, that's what I really loved about it.
Arvid, playing the sitar is an extraordinary challenge, and being exceptionally good at it is very, very few people are. And you're sort of one of those very few people. So it is not surprising that she would reach out to you to be part of this. But what did you think when you were thinking about trying to play alongside opera music?
I was intrigued by the idea because opera in itself is intrinsically very complex. And, well, so is the music, from India, but it's a different kind of complexity. It's not as harmonically complex. And so that was my first big thought, is that how am I going to match all these wonderful melodies and wonderful colors with what I do? And so it was, I found a place for it. And it seemed gratifying. And there's a lot that the listener makes up. And the listener can hear in between what she does and what I do. There's this nether space that the listener is going to put the complexities and a lot of color on their end. They say that if you have two people singing two different notes, the listener is going to put a third note in there subliminally. And in a way, that's how this works, but there's a lot of color in what we do.
So I do want to take a listen to some of your performance together, and then I want to ask you a little bit about how structured it is and how much of it is sort of free flowing. But let's take a listen. So tell us a little bit about what's happening there. Are you, is there kind of an improvisational element to this? How do you come up with what you're performing?
We base each piece on a preconceived scale, the raga scales. Each one has a different color. Raga means color, and a different flavor and a different tempi, et cetera, et cetera. And she came to that with, based on, I guess, the scale that I'm playing, she will base a vocalese on that. And it's not an Indian music vocalese, it's a Western vocalese. And we play off one another and sometimes go to different places, but it is to a preconceived pitch, preconceived scales and everything. But there's a heavy improvisational element to it, in which she is amazing.
This performance is at the what was formerly known as the Karpeles Manuscript
Hmm.
Library Museum. It is now known as the Karpeles Grand, and it is a stunning uh,
It's
venue
beautiful.
with beautiful acoustics. But I think it's interesting. This event, as we said, it's a kind of a celebration of Valentine's Day, and
Mhm.
it offers an option for guests with a laydown option. You can have a
Mhm.
standard ticket, but you can also have a laydown option. Explain
Yes.
to us why. What's the goal there, and what are you doing when you're having the laydown option?
Yeah, so we decided to create it as a hybrid experience. Like I explained before, the sound bath portion, naturally in the wellness community, you lay down on a mat, you bring a bolster, pillow, blanket. It's kind of this immersion that you get to cocoon yourself in the music. And then with traditional opera, you have a seated concert ticket. And so I kind of wanted to just bring both worlds together, allow anyone who really isn't into a sound bath to have a seat to enjoy the music, and then also allow people who want to just immerse themselves to have that cocoon space.
It is a fascinating proposition, and I know it'll be a success. The show is called The Sound of Love. It is Thursday, February 12th from 7 to 8:15. As we said, it's at the Karpeles Grand. Um, Mariette Aida Onsueto and Arvid Smith, thanks so much for being here and telling us about it. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much
Thank
for
you.
having us.